Chair Donelan to move the motion.
Thank you. It is a great pleasure to serve under your chairmanship, Mr Bailey. I beg to move that this House has considered the future of engineering skills and design and technology education. I have called this debate because I believe that the future of engineering and design and technology education is central to the challenges facing our economy today. An underskilled workforce limits a company's and, in turn, the country's growth prospects. If our labour supply does not match our jobs market, then the result is simple. Companies will either relocate or potentially close. This is a massive threat facing businesses in my constituency and our country. We must be bold. We cannot just tinker around the edges and hope for the best. Not if we want to fulfil the infamous long-term economic plan, support our British businesses, boost productivity, and give young people a fair shot in life by encouraging them to study areas which will more likely lead to employment. The UK is the 11th biggest manufacturer in the world. We are competitive in our ability to research and develop highly specialised technologies. However, to maintain our influence, we must focus on exports. We must address the UK's productivity crisis. And since 2013, the UK's productivity has been stagnating. This is simply unacceptable and needs addressing. We have a severe shortage in engineers. According to the Institution of Engineering and Technology, the country will need almost 2 million more engineers in the next 7 years. I repeat, 2 million. This is an absolutely flabbergasting figure. Each week I visit businesses in my constituency, and time again, the same message is echoed. They are struggling to hire adequately skilled staff. Some, shockingly, are considering the possibility of relocating. The UK Commission for Employment and Skills estimates that companies are struggling to fill 43% of STEM vacancies because of the skills gap. I will do.
I thank the Honourable Lady for giving way and congratulate her on securing this debate on such an important topic. But we should also agree it's not just in terms of the commercial sector, but the shortage of skills in the wider economy is also impacting on our military, which does train people in STEM subjects, in that the Royal Navy has 1 engineer for every 2 it would like in some sectors, because of private sector companies desperately trying to recruit the skills that they train to.
I thank my honourable friend who makes an excellent point. The shortage of STEM skills is vast across a number of sectors and is something that we need to face both in the military, the private sector, the public sector. It really is a big problem facing us. And also on that point, there is also a problem in terms of the numbers of females in STEM and the number of people from socially deprived backgrounds, and trying to make the industry much more representative. In fact, the number of women in engineering is just 6%. Something needs to be done to address this. A business in my constituency, Alford Technology, summed it up well in an email to me. They said, "Engineering is sadly underrated in the UK. Britain needs to be doing something to raise the profile of engineering, to make it something more that people can aspire to do. In order to stay at the forefront of the modern technological world, the government really must invest in encouraging the next generation of great engineers, designers and innovators." I will.
Thank you. And can I also congratulate her for securing this important debate? She's talking about the government must do more to engage and promote engineering. But does she also agree that there is an important role for businesses to play? That actually they should be getting out there into schools, primary and secondary, promoting their business and showing what it is that they do behind what might appear to be closed doors to families and children, so that they don't actually know what engineering means until it's too late?
Yes, I'd like to thank my honourable friend. That's something I will touch on in a minute. I completely agree with you. The link between business and companies needs to be aligned much better, because there is this big stigma and misconception about this sector, and the only way that we can myth bust is by introducing them to real people in that industry who will tell them what life is like on that job.
Will the honourable member give way? Does the honourable member accept that businesses are already doing a great deal in this area? My own constituency, Marshall, does a great job in inspiring young people to go into engineering and aerospace. And I met yesterday with a company just outside my constituency, TWI, which is also doing the same. But they need to do more, and they need to do it at an early stage to inspire young people at the ages of 6, 7 and 8 to get involved in engineering.
Yes, thank you. That's something, again, I'll touch on in a minute. But yes, I totally agree. The problem, I think, is that there is an inconsistency. Equally, I have a number of businesses in my constituency that are doing an excellent job and a number of schools that are. But not every school is offering the same link between businesses, and not every business is engaging as much as they could be doing, perhaps.
On that point, I'm sorry to keep being, that she's being intervened on a lot on this side, and we're all providing her with excellent advice, I'm absolutely sure. And I hope she will take it in that spirit. I'm the co-chair of the Design and Innovation APPG, so I have an interest in this area. And I wonder if she will comment on the link that there should be between the sectors that she's talking about and education. We had a meeting with the Minister recently to discuss whether or not this could be included within the EBAG. And I understand the reluctance to be able to do that. But I wonder whether she would like to comment on the relationship between education generally.
Yes, in terms of the EBAC, that's the main thrust of my speech, so I'll leave that one, and you can eagerly anticipate it in a few moments. But in terms of linking education with business can be done in a variety of forms. I think the most important way is to get businesses into schools to talk to children face to face. You can only get a certain amount of information from books and from the media, and if we continue to perpetuate stereotypes, we're not going to get anywhere, is the reality. So back to the speech. So we must support businesses. Like Alford, we must inspire the next generation of thinkers and create an innovation-hungry economy. Britain needs more businesses making more things, designing more things, inventing more things, exporting more things. And we must recognise that engineering and manufacturing are an important part of this, a vital part of Britain's economic future. So what is the answer to all of these problems? Well, we need to improve our career education system, starting at a primary school age. Studies do show that children at age 6 rule out careers, and that is just perpetuating the stereotyping and the reluctance of girls to enter the industry. We need to further strengthen the local links with businesses, and to do this, we also need to increase the emphasis that we place on local labour market intelligence, so we inform our young people about the local opportunities that they can go into, so they have the best career choices and options available to them.
I'm extremely grateful to my fellow Wiltshire MP from my hometown of Chippenham for raising this debate today. Would she concur with me that one of the great opportunities in Wiltshire is Kinetic, which provides thousands of apprenticeships in science and technology, and their initiative with the 5% Club to really target high investment in apprenticeships so that local people in Wiltshire can see the opportunity for apprenticeships in science and technology at 18 locally, and that's a good start on the journey that she's going to take us on this morning.
Yes. And thank you to my honourable friend. I think he's quite right. I know firsthand the work that they're doing in Wiltshire, and especially in the apprenticeship area, which is vital for our economy and giving young people the opportunity to really experience these industries from a younger age, and we do need to do more schemes like that. I also believe that we need to take it further and measure schools by destination reporting in terms of what careers they go into, so that we can better measure this. But it is all quite simple. The answer is that to make our economy more productive, we do need to make our education system more productive. So to put it another way, I think we need to wake up to the fact that we really need to unalign the business sector and the education sector and make sure that they're much more working to support one another. The government has already done quite a lot in this area, and I don't want to overlook that at all. The government has recognised the need to focus on STEM, with initiatives such as STEMnet, providing £6.3 million per year to run a number of programmes, and this includes over 28,000 STEM ambassadors. The Big Bang Theory is another initiative that I've seen firsthand in Wiltshire, and Wiltshire College are doing an excellent job at celebrating STEM for young people in the UK. There is also the Your Life campaign, which is increasing the number of pupils to take on A-level physics and maths. University technology colleges are another fantastic way to address the STEM shortage, and I'm delighted that more than 55 UTCs will be open by 2017. and that they'll be able to cater for over 33,000 students. There are a number of other initiatives which focus on further education and university education in particular, most importantly, the removal of the cap for university places for STEM subjects. These are all great initiatives, but at the end of the day, we still face a huge skills gap that is threatening our economy. I believe that the answer lies in the new Design and Technology GCSE course to address this skills gap. For too long, design, technology and engineering subjects have been misunderstood, stigmatised and stereotyped. This is quite ironic, given that the skills shortage means that we're in dire need of encouraging more young people to pursue these careers. Quite ironic, given that all these subjects give our students the best shot at getting highly valued, highly paid jobs. And quite ironic, given the UK's productivity crisis. Those in the know, the business leaders, see design and technology as an essential part of the UK to remaining a global leader in product design. If we are to plug the ever-growing skills gap and address our rather shameful productivity crisis, we must listen to business and act urgently. Education is the key to addressing the skills shortage, and design and technology is a key part of this. Entries for design and technology GCSE have declined by 18% since 2010, a decline that is even more dramatic amongst girls at 26% over the 5-year period. In addition, the recruitment of design and technology teachers has hit an all-time low. Since 2010, the number of D&T teachers has fallen by 2,300, and the number of teaching hours has fallen by 16%. The government is rightly pushing ahead on ensuring that education is vigorous, that education gives students the core skills that they need for the workplace. And it's vital that the EBAC remains purely academic and ensures that students leave with the skills that they need to get on in life. And I fully support this. However, the push towards the EBAC in its current form threatens to undermine any progress that is being made to address the stigma associated with technology and engineering. I would like to see the vastly improved D&T GCSE included as an option of the science element of the EBAC. There is huge support within the business community and the teaching community, not just in my constituency, not just in Wiltshire, but in our country. They're crying out for this change, and I believe something needs to be done. Figures vary, but estimates suggest that there are around 54,000 vacancies for the 1,200 graduate engineers each year. This is a brake on business and a drag on the economy. Let me be clear. I'm not asking for a U-turn in the policy. This is a minor change to strengthen, improve and safeguard the EBAC, given the scientific and academic nature of the new Design and Technology GCSE. There will be no outcry from vocational subjects, from pressure groups like art, music and religious education, because that is a totally different debate. There is also a precedent for this with computer science. In recognition of the changing economy, and the former ICT qualification was revamped as computer science to cater for the economic needs of the country, particularly in computer programmers and the shortfalls in the digital industries. Yet the skill shortages in design, manufacturing and engineering are far more vast, so surely the case is much more pressing. Without a technology and engineering element to the EBAC, young people do not have the opportunity to taste these subjects and thus gain a greater insight into these careers. Yes, they can do the core subjects, they can do maths and science, which can lead them on to a university placement or an apprenticeship in these fields. But why would they do that when they've never actually tasted design and technology and have no real concept of what it means? In fact, they won't, and the evidence shows us that they won't, because between 2010 and 15, the number of A-level entries for design and technology fell by 24%. This indicates that the decline in the GCSE is having a further impact, which is knocking on through the STEM pipeline. The government is also committed to 3 million new apprenticeship schemes. Making sure that design and technology is part of the EBAC will help towards this goal. A taster in a technical course will encourage people to go on to do a technical and apprenticeship. So I encourage the Minister to utilise the same foresight that was used with computer science and introduce the design and technology course as part of the EBAC. It is now newly improved and part of the science and also very scientific. This would add to the image, the value, and send a message out that design and technology and engineering are science and are core to our curriculum. After all, isn't one of the key purposes of our education system to feed the workforce for tomorrow? Progress 8, in theory, does measure students' progress across 8 subjects: English, Maths, Science, 3 other EBAT subjects, which could be Science, Computer Science, Geography, History, Languages, and 3 other further subjects, which can be from a range of the EBAT subjects, or can be any of the highly approved art, academic or vocational qualifications. However, we do have a situation, and schools are telling me this myself, where many schools are pushing their students particularly towards the academic subjects. And many are taking more than that expected 5. This results in D&T being squeezed into a single or double option box to compete with the likes of photography or dance for a single place amongst the students' options. It would be tragic after all the work, time and money that has been invested in the new D&T GCSE, which is academically rigorous, for it to still be sidelined in this way. Some will argue that the EBAC is only 5 subjects from a GCSE programme of 9, but I believe this doesn't really show an understanding of the situation that we face. Design and technology is being marginalised, and the brightest students do overlook it because they do not perceive it as a scientific subject, and it hasn't got that EBAC accreditation. As a result of the hard work and commitment of the Minister, the Dyson Foundation and the business community, the content of the new course that will launch in September 2017 is highly scientific and a vast improvement on the previous qualification. It encourages innovation and the creativity that we need in this country to boost our UK productivity. It is worthy of EBAT status. The Minister himself has made some very good points on the specific subject. In fact, he described the GCSE as the gold standard. He went on to say that the rigorous qualification will require students to have a sound grasp of maths and science and will undoubtedly stretch to further develop the kind of knowledge and skills that are so sought after by employers and universities. Well, I agree with the Minister. Design and technology is the only subject in which students put their maths and physics knowledge to practical tasks. It's the only subject which gives a window into the career of engineering. It is the obvious pipeline for engineering talent. This view is shared by Sir James Dyson, Dr. Rhys Morgan, who is Director of Education at the Royal Academy of Engineering, Paul Jackson, the Chief Executive Officer of Engineering UK, the Design and Technology Association, and hundreds of businesses who have contacted me in the past few weeks. We must listen to the experts in this, and we must take action. Including the course would help challenge perceptions of the subject, boost recruitment and take-up. In fact, there is a 57% recruitment shortfall in trainee design and technology teachers who are concerned over its future and its status. There are a number of other ways that I believe we can encourage young people to take engineering and design and technology to safeguard the subject and to safeguard their futures. And I'm not going to deny that I've only really touched on one main one today, and I'm sure that other colleagues will go into further depth on other areas. But I've focused on this one today because I believe it is absolutely crucial and very, very doable. The simple change is what business needs and what our economy needs. The change would highlight that government understands the need to align the education system much more with the economy and to give our young the best opportunity in life. We have a chance here to include a new, robust, rigorous design and technology course within the EBAC as a science element, just as was done with computer science, to combat any negative perceptions and recognise the industry needs. It is unacceptable that at a time when we have such severe engineering shortages and a growing productivity crisis, that we are only prioritising the S and M and not the T and E of STEM. What is the point of all the programmes that we're doing to encourage young people to consider a career in the sector if we're going to say that the new science-based D&T course isn't actually really science? And that's what this categorisation means. It means it isn't actually science, and it sends out the message that it's not important to the STEM agenda. So, in conclusion, if we are to remain at the forefront of global product design, we must take action. I believe that bolstering the Design and Technology GCSE by its inclusion into the EBAC is an important step to addressing the skills shortage, safeguarding the future of the subject, and supporting skills and businesses. As I said to the Prime Minister last month, The skills shortage is a ticking time bomb, and I urge the Minister to act now. I'd like to thank all colleagues who participated today. I think that together we have stressed the importance of promoting the STEM sector and combating stereotyping and the image that has arisen to tackle the skills gap. I think my honourable friend for Rochester and Stroud summed it up when she said we need to excite people about this industry. The discussion today highlighted the focus needs to be on T&E of STEM and not just on S&M. And the member for Bolton West talked about the need for practical skills and hands-on abilities. Also like to echo the comments from Glasgow South West, where the honourable member said that education should be led by industry and not by politicians. And I think this really sums up where we need to progress within the sector. And I'm quite impressed that I managed to inspire the Shadow Minister as well. I'd like to thank the Minister for his response and congratulate him and note his work in this sector. It is quite easy to overlook the fact that he is one of the people that did dramatically change this design and technology course that we're talking about, and so he understands its value and its potential in the long term to progress. I would also like to agree with him on the importance of the EBAC in terms of its academic rigour and its core focus, and stress the case that that is exactly why we need design and technology as part of it, given the fact that it is very much an academic subject, and we can send out that message to the country, to students and teachers. And I'd just like to end by saying that I urge the government to listen to businesses, listen to teachers, and help give students the best shot at life by actually looking again at making design and technology part of the EBAC.
Question is that this House considered engineering skills and design and technology education. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it. Order, order.